We are going to begin tonight with a quick meditation. Firstly, it's to settle our mind and try to draw our consciousness inwards so that we're more likely to pay attention and be aware of the many signals of information that is actually available to you. No one's allergic to incense by any chance? Okay, good. So for those who have not met me before, my name is Master Dao. So I am what's called a 35th generation Shaolin disciple. What actually that means is that I have a Dharma name and a lineage that goes back to over 1,500 years. And not many people know about this side of Shaolin because Shaolin portrayed today as fancy martial arts, even powerful martial arts, Kung Fu. But actually, the idea of philosophy and wisdom is the most important aspect of what Shaolin is, and actually what Shaolin has to offer, because this philosophy pervades everywhere in everything that we do. For those who are not familiar with our school here, we have Shaolin Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Qigong, as well as this meditation and philosophy workshop. So that's quite a number of things and entails quite a few ideas, all of which is essentially affected by the philosophy of Shaolin. And my master, Shi Guosong, actually very famous. Not many people know him here, but in China it was very, very famous. It's mostly because of his Kung Fu, but also because he was in charge of everything at Shaolin. The masters put him up to that task, and he became something called an arhat, or a guardian of Shaolin. And he worked very, very hard for that at a young age to be essentially dropped off at Shaolin. By the way, they don't accept you anymore if you're dropped off at Shaolin. But he grew up there, and he learned the system and trained under several masters and brought his martial ability up, and he did the meditation and philosophy and things like that as well. So he wants to keep this tradition alive. And Shaolin has a lot of, many different places, and there's, you can say that it's like one aspect of Shaolin. Mostly it's Kung Fu around the world. So my job here is to help my master be a good student of this philosophy, and then translate it in a way that is practical, that people can get their feet wet into it, so they can have useful philosophy that can immediately apply to their lives. So that's why what I call the Chan-Dao, self-wisdom, is my interpretation of all things that I have learned and continue to learn, and encapsulated in basically 4 key topics. 1 of which is perceptions, 2 is emotions, the 3rd is the subconscious that we're going to talk about tonight, and finally the 4th one is about the ego self. So hopefully you had a chance to read up and study some of the material from the perceptions and emotions workshop. If not, don't worry, you can always access those online on our website, stqitoronto.com. Just click on, go to the home page, and then click on resources, and then Zen resources, and there's quite a few articles that you will find there, including tonight's workshop, which will be immediately live and available at 9 o'clock. So what I want to do now is just lay down some rules first before we really begin. The first thing is that you should question the things that I say, so that you can rationalize why I say the things that I do. If I say something that maybe you don't agree with immediately, try to get past that and try to understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay? Because philosophy, in order to be useful, it needs to be universal. It needs to apply all the time. It can't just apply and be right in some situations and wrong in another. That's not useful philosophy. It's not what I want to teach. So it needs to be practical, it needs to be immediately useful, it needs to be logical, and it needs to make sense for you in your life. And if you still disagree, you're entitled to that. So then you can take the things I say with a grain of salt. So maybe one day, if your perception ever changes, then things I'll say will make a lot more sense. So I'm not here to make you upset, and really just want to figure out how the best way to take some of these very, very complicated ideas so that people can understand them. And that's a difficulty that the main challenge today is that, because a lot of the Buddhist texts are very difficult to understand in terms of what they're saying. But if you pay attention through all these topics of the Chan-Dao, then you're very, very likely to be able to understand anything that's written in any text. So because I try to condense it into very, very useful but clear and concise components. You don't need to add any more. Once you understand each of these components, you just keep applying it and everything will make sense. But the other thing is that you won't get everything right away. Even if you feel like you got it, you need time to digest, because the things that we talk about in these sessions, it affects what we call the perceptual layers. You can't just suddenly swap things out. Oh, suddenly I believe in this, no longer believe in that. It doesn't happen that way. It takes time for it to sink in. And tonight you're going to understand why as well. So give yourself lots of time. It's good that if you feel that, oh, this kind of makes sense, this is really good, but you need to keep applying it. The things that we talk about have to be constantly be applied so you can really, really, truly believe it. And then it can truly help you in your quest of life, you can call it. The other thing is that you are allowed to sleep and take a nap, as long as you're not disturbing anybody, because people work all day or work out all day and they're tired. So it's better that you just lie down and not feel embarrassed about it. Everyone does it every workshop, by the way. Just take a 5-10 minute rest or nap, whatever you want to do. And then when you wake up again, you'll be very fresh and you'll be able to handle the rest of the evening. So my plan right now is to do about 4 meditation sessions, varying from 10 to 20 minutes. They're pretty short. It's meant to help you progress in terms of your ability to calm the mind, and then to continue to practice the idea of seated meditation. Some of you will have flexibility issues. You do not have to sit half lotus, full lotus. You can sit cross-legged. If anybody wants to, I can also bring a bench in, so you can sit on the bench as well. So for those who just arrived, there's meditation pillows. You can just grab them as well, and it'll make it more comfortable for you. By the way, for those, if you're sitting cross-legged, you might want to grab another one, because it elevates you even higher. This will help you to keep your back straighter. And I'll guide you through this process in a moment. So at most, we'll do these 15, 20-minute sessions, whether it's discussion or meditation. And then we'll take a short 3 to 5 minute break. So we'll have lots of breaks. You can ask questions during that break. You can use the washroom, which are at the back. And then we just continue until it is 9 o'clock. So hopefully you will stay to the end, because at the very, very end, I'll give you my final conclusion and the relevance in terms of the overall Chan-Dao perspective. Any questions before we begin? Okay, so let's go right into sitting meditation. You can sit half lotus, I mentioned, like I'm doing right now. Full lotus, if that's comfortable for you. You can do cross-legged. Okay, so whatever you try to do, think about sitting on the pillow more like at the edge. And you can, these pillows, you can massage them and shape them however you want. The goal is to get to the right height so it's easy to keep your back straight. And this is very, very important, because if you're meditating for a while, even after 5 minutes, you might start feeling strain on your back. It means that you're too low and your body is leaning back. So you try to find this perfect balance here of your vertical spine. The next thing that we want to do is keep your back straight. Think about elongating your body vertically upwards. Just use a little bit of muscle, like how a cat stretches. Or you can, usually I tell people to think about like a string pulling on your head, just to keep you up higher. Otherwise your spine will get pressure, and again, it'll be uncomfortable if you continue to practice. It's not good for your body like that. Anyway, it's a good habit to build. Even when you're sitting at work, wherever you are, try to remember to just use a little bit of muscle, keep your body vertically stretched up. It takes a lot of pressure off your hips. So right hand on top of the left, thumb together. You do not have to do this. If you prefer other seated position, I'm perfectly fine with that. And then make sure your chin is now level. Okay, your tongue is on the roof of the mouth, but relaxed. Okay? It forms a renmai dumai energy line, so it's conducive to really good energy as you practice. Level out your head, so your head is not tilted forward or back. And half close your eyes. We're going to do a short 5-minute meditation. And without much instruction, I want you to just try to relax and observe the thoughts that enter your mind and just let them gently aside. Okay, I'll let you know when we are finished with the 5 minutes. 3, 2, 1, and let us begin. First, by scanning for tension in the body. Start with the top of your head, work your way down slowly, and wherever you find tension, try to relax, but maintain this upright posture. Work down your arms, to your hands, down your body, to your hips and legs, and then your feet. Breathe and relax. Okay, gently open your eyes. For those on Zoom, if you'd like to put on your camera, I prefer that, but if not, that's okay too. So, the thing I want to tell you that is, because we have a lot of new people here, you do not need to sit like this. You can actually sit against the wall. You can lie down on your side. You can even lie down on your back. I just don't recommend it because it's too relatable to sleep, and you might feel tired just by doing so. And you will have discovered that once you close your eyes or half close your eyes during this short 5-minute session, you would have had many, many thoughts. Okay? If you didn't, you would not be human. All right? Because our lives are so busy, so you're going to have a lot of thoughts. It's normal. But we want to practice in a way that lessens those thoughts gradually. So that's why we're doing the meditation session in this way. The next one will be 10 minutes, so it'll be quite a bit longer. And you'll find it a lot easier to go back into it for the second round. What I want you to now do is do something called the counting method. Why I suggest this is because you will use a minimal amount of mental power to do the counting. So what you're also keeping track of is your breath. So every time you're breathing out, increase by 1. When you get to 10, you start again at 0. It's not about how many times you can go successfully from 1 to 10 and back to 0, and it's not about that. It's only about simplifying your thoughts. So when you're doing that, you're less likely to let your mind carry on with one thought after another thought, which leads to another thought. Okay, make sense? If you find that you have too many thoughts, even though you're counting by 1 for the breath out, then you can count on the breath in and the breath out. So you breathe in, it's 1. Breathe out, it's now 2. Right? So see what works for you. And then the second thing is that if you find that you have many thoughts, after counting to 2 or 3, start again. As long as it doesn't frustrate you, start again. Because you'll see that if you continue in this way, eventually you'll get to 3 or 4. And suddenly you get to 4 or 5, 5 or 6. So you need to see that you can actually progress with this. But if you're stuck at 1 or 2 the whole night, that's fine too. There's no hard rule. Okay? It depends on where everybody's at in terms of their ability to do this kind of meditation. You notice I also have some light music in the background. And when I do my meditation, I prefer like just complete silence. So, but having some monotone, like very quiet kind of music like this is okay, because you're not likely to listen to the tune and then follow it. So it's meant to be more like ambient background noise, and it helps to quiet things down. So we're gonna go right into another 10-minute session. So now it'd be 15 minutes, but after that we'll do a quick calisthenics to loosen up our body. So get back into your comfortable position, and again, feel free to experiment. If your legs start getting numb, you can straighten out your legs. You can lightly ruffle your legs, rub your legs like this, and then you come back. So the one thing I would promise is that if you continue to practice, you can grab a meditation pillow there and just find a place to sit. That if you continue to practice, then it'll get easier. Your legs eventually won't get numb. So this is just your experience with sitting, your flexibility, understanding how to get the perfect balance so not too much weight goes onto your legs, which causes numbness. So all that comes with time. So feel free to keep on experimenting until you get it just right. Straighten out your back, right hand top, left thumb together, level out your chin. Half close your eyes. Remember to vertically elongate or stretch your body upwards. Just gently. 3, 2, 1, let us begin. Once again, scan your body for tension. Starting at the top of your head, and anywhere there's tension, try to let the muscles go. Just relax. Everywhere around the face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, all the way down to your fingers, down your body, to your legs and your feet. Okay, gently open your eyes. We're going to do a quick calisthenics. I'm just going to roll your head like this. Try to keep your body vertically stretched upwards as you're doing these exercises. Change direction. And then rub your hands together until they are warm. Press firmly on your face and brush backwards. Do it a few times. You'll find that it'll help to stimulate your whole head. And then rub your hands together again. Place your palms gently on your eyes. And then look left and right. Go through your full range of motion, a little bit more if you like. And then up and down. And around in one direction. And change direction. Okay, and relax your hands, rolling your shoulders forward. Switch. Now lean forward and press your hands on your legs. Think about, instead of your head going straight down like this, think about going forward. It's like your shoulders and your head are going forward and relaxing your torso so you feel a light stretch, or like I call it a decompression in your lower back. Sorry, zoom, make sure you guys can see me a bit here. Maybe the angle isn't so great. Okay, and then come back up. Put your hands here like this, and just test, make sure you might have to go on a slight angle just so you don't hit somebody. Just test a few times and then go a little bit faster and try to relax. It's like you're accelerating the hand outward and then you're relaxing. Okay, and then lying down on your side. Okay, so you're going to extend your leg out here like this, as well as the hand. Turn your hips so one hip is over the other. Good, and switch other side. Okay, again, test first, just so there's no accidents here. And then relax. Okay, so I'm going to just have a very quick discussion first to leave you with some thoughts and then give you a 5-minute break and then come back to this particular topic that we have for today, which is about the subconscious, and more specifically what I call the subconscious partner. Now, when I use the word subconscious, for those who have done any kind of studying about the subconscious or read some things about this on the website, you discover, in fact, there's so many different definitions of the subconscious. And sometimes they even conflict. The ideas about them conflict. So we need to start with a blank slate. That's why I'm using the word subconscious partner. But also has some meaning behind it that's a little bit different than what someone would think about in terms of the subconscious. So we need to agree upon this definition first. And you don't have to agree 100%, but as long as you understand my definition, then you're going to have a lot of fun tonight, because I promise you, your understanding about yourself will essentially double as a result of this. Now, before we begin, I just want to see, including those people on Zoom, well, actually a lot of people on Zoom here. We've got like 12 people on Zoom. You know what, just wave to them. It's kind of neat. Because, I mean, we're in a digital age, and even a lot of, that's kind of fun. There's so many people here. It's really great that people can connect. Doesn't matter where you are. And let's talk about the subconscious partner then. What is the subconscious partner? So I like to define the subconscious partner as the intelligence that helps you interface with your body, your mind, and the world. Okay, so let me just say that again. Your subconscious partner is the intelligence that helps you to interface with your body, with your mind, and with the world. I'm just going to analyze this and with the highlight some of the key words and just talk about it briefly, and then I'll let you go on a quick break. So the first word is intelligence, which means that your subconscious partner is smart. Contrary to what you will find other people's definitions saying that the subconscious is a robot, okay? But that may be true if your definition is subconscious. So I would say subconscious partner is not a robot. It's smart, it's intelligent, okay? You can even say it's wise. The second thing is that the subconscious partner, because it's intelligent, has the ability to rationalize, to access your memories, to think about things. It can command your body to make you move, for example. The second keyword is you. So when I say you, now I'm talking about your consciousness. That's kind of like your ability to rationalize, which also includes your ability to access memories and to think, to calculate, okay, to also command the body. So it almost sounds like the same thing, doesn't it? Except that there's 3 distinguishing parts that separate the subconscious partner and from yourself. The first thing is that you have the ability to make the final decision. Okay, this is something you actually have the ability to do so. And we'll talk about this later on. The second thing is that your subconscious partner does the actual work for you when you want to think and when you want to move. So think of it as you're like as commander on a ship, and you say, I want to turn left. You don't know how it works, other than that there's someone who's going to take care of it and makes you turn left, right? I want to go faster, and somehow the boat goes faster. Okay, the subconscious partner, that's the job of your subconscious partner, to actually go and do that, not you. Right? And we'll explore this idea a little bit later on as well. And finally, the subconscious partner is designed to keep you alive and then support you in your endeavors on this planet. So that way you don't have to worry about all these other things And then you can go ahead and be who you want to be and do the things that you want to do. Your subconscious partner is there to support you. Okay, does that make sense? So all you have to do during this break is think about that. Is this true? Okay, and we're going to explore it with a concrete example, hopefully, and to prove to you that your subconscious partner exists. But I want you to try to see if you can detect your subconscious partner now during this break. And just think about it. Is it intelligent? Does it actually help you? Does it do your interfacing? Or are you really moving your arms and your legs and calculating and analyzing and thinking? Are you doing that? Or is your subconscious partner doing that? So all I want you to do in the short 5 minutes break is to think about that. Okay, we'll begin now. And remember, you can use the washroom here. If you want to ask me some questions, feel free to ask away. Go ahead. Do you have a question, Igor?
Yeah, I do. About the terminology. I heard discussions, I think, around the topic that you are going to discuss, and they call it unconscious rather than subconscious, making it kind of your partner, but almost equal, and like sub kind of suggests superiority of you to your sub pilot, right? What do you think of that? Do you think that unconscious can be considered as a...
Okay. So for those who can't really hear too well, Igor is saying that why not use the word unconscious instead of the subconscious? Because maybe the subconscious implies that it's lesser than you. Well, actually, in the definition that I just said, the first thing I said was, number one, you get the final say.
You make the decision.
That's right. So guess what? Your subconscious is really subconscious. But why I don't like the unconscious? Because it implies that you'll never know it's really there. Right? But the term I'm using specifically is subconscious partner. So we're elevating it to be actually equal on your terms. So that's why I put those two words together. And but in the end of the day, it's semantics. Whatever you want to call it, you can call it however you want. I prefer to call it the subconscious partner. At least for now. I might change my mind, but I'll think about that for now.
Okay.
Yes, Hossein.
So when we say that subconscious is intelligent, is it like almost like is it like separate from me, or like a part of me that is like I'm just not aware of? So similar to like every individual, you know, we're like intelligent beings, but like we're like separate in the physical dimension. Is it the same thing with our subconscious? Is it like, so is it almost like a robot that I know you didn't mention that it's not a robot,
Right.
But I mean, like, I don't know how.
There's a cold breeze. I'm just gonna turn up the temperature here. Okay, so basically, your whole body, including your mind, includes both your consciousness and your subconscious partner. You're both in it.
So, like, am I actually able to, like, for example, have a discussion?
Yes.
This is like one of them.
Yes, and that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to give you a very clear, concrete example at the end of the night where you're actually having a discussion with your subconscious. Okay?
Similar to like the presence that is a part of me, but not quite me.
It is part of you, absolutely. It's always been there. And as you will see that you've been working with it this whole time. Okay, but it's kind of hidden for whatever reason. And we can talk about those questions. Why is it hidden, for example? And then it'll bring more clarity in terms of, but basically what I want you to do in this workshop is to discover that your subconscious partner is actually there. From a logical point of view, it has to be there. Right? And I'll prove it to you in a moment. But also, then if it does exist, how do we actually communicate with it? Remember, communication is both ways. And we'll talk about that. And then we'll have a concrete example how and why you would want to even work together. In the next section, I'll be doing some reading because when we're talking about the subconscious partner, I want to be very careful with my words, a little bit more concise. So I'm going to read to you An example that everyone kind of really, I think, will have experience, a kind of common example. And then we're going to talk about it and then break it down and then see where the subconscious is playing a role. Okay, so maybe you can already think about that when we begin. Actually, we're gonna do this now. Actually, because of the time. So here's the example. In our first example, let's say that you are working or you're at school and you're very, very busy. So you're working and you're studying for a few hours and you haven't quite finished yet. And you know there's a deadline approaching that day. Okay, but you also didn't bring your lunch. Unfortunately, you forgot. And you know that finding a meal outside is going to be very time consuming. So you want to continue your work or study, but your stomach is now complaining. Okay, and you feel hungrier by the minute. You start thinking of all the delicious options like your favorite restaurants, maybe fast food. Maybe you're thinking about eating your favorite burger, your sandwich, or your salad. And then someone wants to talk to you while you're still trying to get your work done quicker. And then you snap back at the person. You're a bit annoyed. How dare you just break my focus. Now it's going to take me even longer to finish what I'm doing. But then finally, you're so hungry, you have no choice. You end up leaving to go find your meal. And when you find your meal, and you're eating, you feel very, very satisfied. Right? And you feel sated as a result. Everything is so delicious. And then finally, you can go back and resume your studies. Okay, so here's a typical example. I think most people can relate to this, yes? Okay, so let's break it down and analyze this to see where our subconscious plays a role. Okay, so in the first part here that we're talking about, we're saying that you're really busy at school or at work. You're doing something like studying, trying to respond to some emails, filling out a report, doing some programming. It doesn't matter. But what's interesting is how you're actually doing any of this kind of stuff. Let's say you're typing and you're moving your fingers. How are you actually doing that? All right? Normally you say, oh, I'm moving my fingers because I'm moving my fingers. I'm moving my hand up. I'm just going to move my hand up. How is it actually happening? So I want you to take a moment and just study your hands and just lift up your hand like this. And then lift it down. Let it go back down. Go up and then down. Now as you're doing this, ask yourself how you're actually doing that. What's actually happening in here? The body is so complicated, you have no idea. Okay, of course, medical science is saying you're sending an electrical impulse through your nerves to activate your muscles, and it's doing this. But even this motion, you see my hand is flat. That's so complicated. I'm not going like this. I'm keeping it flat as it goes. That's extremely complicated. How did you just do that? You have no idea, actually. Does anyone have any idea how they just did that? Okay. So let me clue you in on this, and that is you figure out how to talk to your subconscious, and you projected the idea of lifting up your arm, and then went ahead and did that. That's how it happened. Okay? So you're talking to your subconscious, giving it a request, and then it's carrying it out. So although we use a physical example, it happens as well when you're thinking. If you're recalling some memories, let's say you're writing a reply and you want to be very careful about how you go about doing that reply so you don't offend someone, now you have to think about the person you're sending to, the kind of language that you want to use in your email. Think about the original email or what's prompting you to generate this email. So complicated. All that memory retrieval, analysis, comparison, and then think about the conclusion of what you want to actually do. Okay? You have at your fingertips like this amazing functionality to do all these things. But you're not actually doing it. There's no way you'll know how to actually retrieve a specific memory from your brain. Right? It's too complicated. Now, let's move on to the next part then. You work or study for a few hours and you haven't finished yet and a deadline is approaching this and you didn't bring your lunch, and you know that getting a meal outside is time consuming. So you want to continue, but your stomach is complaining and you feel hungrier every minute. Now, if you're following, now you start to get the idea here. But now it's because we're involving emotions, it's a little bit different. Okay? So you know that, for example, that your progress is a bit slow and you're behind. Okay? And that makes you feel anxious. Oh no, am I going to make this deadline in time? So you're thinking logically, okay, well, if I can delay lunch and in favor of getting more done now, then I don't have to worry. That's actually what's happening. I need to get this done. I don't like this anxiety feeling that I'm getting. The interesting thing is that your subconscious partner knows this. Anything you know, it knows. Okay, what you're trying to do, it knows you're trying to do that. So, but it also knows that you're lacking energy. Okay, it's like a car that's running out of fuel. It's just barely moving now. Okay, you're running out of energy. But it also is so smart. It knows that, well, you do want to get it done in time, but you're not thinking because you're too worried. So I'm going to do some thinking for you. I'm going to make you feel really, really hungry. So hungry it's going to make you feel so disturbed, so much suffering that it's going to force you to do something because I'm trying to help you do these things, but there's not enough energy to go around. How am I going to do this complex thoughts and help you generate, whatever you want to say in your email when I can't even do that? I need energy. Okay? So in a way, it's starting to complain. And it's getting urgent. The longer you take, the more urgent it's going to be, and the more it's going to nag you, and does through emotions, right? Changing your emotional states. For those who are here for the topic on emotions, we talk about these emotional states, and we also used hunger as one of those examples. You start thinking of all the delicious options such as fast food or other kind of foods, your favorite foods like burger, sandwich, or salad. So as you continue to ignore your subconscious partner is trying to think of ways to convince you. So it puts imagery of these things. It sends it to you as delicious burger if you like burgers, or this delicious salad, whatever it's going to be. It keeps reminding you of this. So it makes you think about it. Oh, that is really tasty. It makes you, and then your stomach might start to gurgle. You might start to salivate. But eventually, if you keep doing that, it'll get really angry with you. And if it gets angry, like maybe the hangry expression, that's where it comes from. It starts to generate anger within yourself, and it makes you really angry. Okay, so that's why when someone suddenly talks to you and you snap back at them, that could be the reason. Okay, you're annoyed, you're angry. You didn't intend to be because you're at work. It's not very professional to be angry at somebody and snap back at them, but it might happen. Because suddenly you were feeling this emotional state, but you weren't paying attention, so it just suddenly happened out of nowhere, and suddenly you did something maybe you might regret a little bit. But finally, you decide you have no choice. You have to go eat. This is just way too much. In that paradise of whatever food that you're thinking about is just waiting for you. So you find your meal. And actually, before that, because you made this decision, you're on your way out, maybe your subconscious partner, depending on how long you waited, if it's continuing to be angry, it might continue to nag you. But if it accepts that you're finally made this decision, it might kind of reward you a little bit and just lessen the hunger a little bit, but ensure that you keep going. It's going to make you suffer a little bit less, so you can focus on your drive or your walk or however. When you find your meal and you're eating, you get this really satisfying feeling, right? You feel sated. And with that, you resume your work or study. So you can think about this as your subconscious partner rewarding you. It's giving you a pat on the back. Well done, good job. You finally went out and did what I've been asking you to do. It makes more sense this way. Let's go do our work because I've got lots of energy to do now. Okay, make sense? Okay, so anyone want to challenge that now? Does anyone have... Yes, go ahead.
I feel it's like being a slave of your subconscious because you do whatever he actually told you to do.
Not that you're a slave. I mean, in the end, I always say you always have the choice to starve yourself to death.
Yeah, but you didn't have a choice, so you actually...
Well, in the example, I didn't want to do that. So, right? So, because most people will not starve themselves to death. You get so uncomfortable. It's like you really have no choice. But you're in a way, you're at the mercy. I think not that you're a slave, but you're at the mercy of your subconscious. sometimes, and we will talk about that, okay, in different ways tonight. Yes, Stephen.
But isn't there like a sense that you overcome the feeling? You overcome, like this, if the subconscious is very emotional, what if you overcome the emotion and just say, hunger is just another sensation, and I'll just ignore it and keep working, because I know when I go and eat, then I'm going to need energy to digest the food. I'm going to be tired. It happens all the time, right?
Yes.
So can it be something like, if some of the meditation is about observing emotion and then letting it pass, can't hunger just be sometimes, I mean, short of starving, can't hunger just be another emotion that we just say, okay, fine, I'll acknowledge it and then let it pass and keep working?
Yes, hunger is actually an emotional state that we experience, just like feeling sleepy, feeling pain, all the same. So you could, did you attend the emotions workshop? No, you didn't. Okay, so you already answered the question. It was very, very good. And that, yes, if it's an emotional state, you can have the power to decide, I'm just going to ignore it and just keep going anyway, which a lot of people do. The more urgent or the more anxiety that the situation creates, then the more likely you're going to override it. And it's just, no, I can't take this half hour off. I really have to get this report done. But then 1 hour goes by, oh no, it's going to take another hour. It's going to another hour. And people keep going like this throughout the day. And it's damaging for the body. Okay? And also your subconscious partner will not appreciate that. And we will talk about that and how it relates to our emotions. Okay? It's a really, really fun night. So as long as you are able to follow with that example, then you're going to have a really, really good time tonight. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you, because there was a lot of stuff here, I have not finished with this particular section, but I'm going to give you a quick 5-minute break, and then I'm going to finish off this section, and then we'll go to a meditation, a more intense meditation session, if you will, for about 20 minutes. Okay, very good. 5 minutes beginning now. Yes? Yes, go ahead, Amanda.
Is your subconscious partner always leading you to your higher good? It seems to know what is best and is directing you that way. Would you say that? Do you sort of agree and work with that, or not?
Okay, I'm going to only partially answer that question. So Amanda's question is your subconscious partner always trying to move you to a higher good, I guess what you said, right? Basically, how I'll answer that actually in bits and pieces tonight. Actually, after this break, I will address half of that. But also, a lot of it has to do with the final component, which is the ego self. So we will discuss that in great detail, probably February or March of next year. That's also a major topic because it now combines your perceptual layers, your emotions, and now the subconscious, putting all of them together. So it's yet another level of complexity. So I'm gonna need a lot of time to think that through before we have that workshop, before I can really answer you concretely. Okay, you're welcome. We have about 3 more minutes. Any other questions? Yes?
So you said it's intelligent and it's wise. So is it always good, or can it like form bad habits? So like an addiction or?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Ken has a question: is your subconscious always good, or can it be bad in the sense and form addiction, things like that? Is it really wise? Actually, wisdom and intelligence are a little bit different. They're different. Okay. So you can say that the subconscious is only wise to a certain extent, and it kind of relies on you to be wise, for the most part. Its wisdom lies with the body and the mechanics of the body and the health of your body. That's where it really puts its attention, because your subconscious partner is paying attention to so many things all the time to keep things running. And we'll talk about that in a moment. It can't deal with anything else very, very well. It might try, but it will, for the most part, with some exceptions, leave it up to you.
The question
Yes.
is like, what if you're
Question
intelligent,
sure,
I
I
use
understand what
drugs.
you're saying, but would it be sort of an example like
Or
if
you
your
don't.
subconscious says you're really, really hungry, but then you have the choice whether or not to take someone else's food, that would be moral. You're making that conscious decision and choosing something else because the subconscious is saying, get some food, otherwise.
That's right. That's a very good example. If you were really hungry, and there's no food, but maybe your coworker left the candy bar next over there, I'm pretty sure if it was up to your subconscious, it would just go and grab that candy bar. So, but your consciousness, because of the things that you learn, the principles and the morals, those high perceptual layers that make up your personality, will probably, for the most part, override it. Right? But probably as a kid, you would have taken it because you haven't developed these things yet, right? 'Cause I know I've done it when I was in grade 3 or 4. Yes.
Is it also the case that, I mean, I don't want to make a distinction between inside and outside, but your subconscious, I feel like you can't really know, you can't be wise about things outside of your body. Is that
Only, I think for mostly yes. Mostly yes. But I'm going to show you some examples where it's not. That actually is not true. Yeah, I'm going to show you it's not true. Okay? It can have some wisdom outside your body. Okay? So one of the main things, we're going to begin now. One of the main things is that your subconscious partner, remember the definition, it interfaces you with your body and your mind and the outside world. So it knows everything you know, it also knows. Okay? Anything that you decide is true or false or have a judgment about something, it already knows it too. Okay? But it also may not agree. So this is the fun part, and it'll help to. The main reason why this topic is so fun and interesting is because as it helped me, I think it will help a lot of people develop more clarity in their lives. Now, just to talk about the subconscious partner a little bit here, because we talked about how the subconscious partner has a couple of major roles. One of which, the primary role I would call it, is to keep you alive. Okay, so this is the primary role. And let's say, for example, how do we know this? Well, when you are first born, your brain hasn't developed yet. Your embryo begins here. And then later on, you have a spine that grows, and then your brain forms. But in that process, your heart is already beating. How is your heart beating? What's actually telling your heart to beat? When this starts to continue to form, even though you're inside the womb, medical science has already shown that babies can already hear and see to a certain extent. There's a lot of sunlight going down to the belly. The baby actually can start seeing some colors and shapes and things like that. So your consciousness has already got kick-started. But being a baby, your consciousness doesn't actually have much power yet. It wouldn't make any sense if, as like a half-developed embryo, you decide to leave now. It wouldn't make any sense. So you don't have the ability to do it. Your subconscious hasn't given you that access yet. Your subconscious partner is still taking care of stuff. You're still growing. So it's keeping track of all these things. And it's already storing information in your brain. I would like to even suggest that because of the connection to the mother's brain, and then the brain matter that connects all the way down, the baby is actually learning from the mother based on what the mother's looking at and deciding things like that. Okay, not medically, nothing is proven, but this is something that kind of makes sense. And logic is one of the most important ways to think about philosophy, because a lot of these cannot really be proven by science. So if it can't be proven, if you're of only a scientific mind, I only believe it if we do a scientific experiment to prove it, you can't get very, very far with any kind of philosophy. To have to prove the subconscious partner exists, maybe you can say people are trying to think of how to prove something like that, but because it's not proven in that scientific sense, that's why there's so much disagreement and different definitions of the subconscious today. So all we have to do is not worry about such complexity. We have to think about, from the logical point of view, does it actually make sense? And if you can get past that, then that's how the rest of the night is going to be so interesting for you. So the other thing is that once you're out in the world, your subconscious partner already gave you a little bit of ability to do things. But for the most part, it's still taking control. It knows that now, how do you stay alive? It's already starting to worry about that once you're out of the womb. Because you can't, as a baby, you don't know how to communicate in terms of talking or anything like that, or gestures. You don't have those abilities. Babies, you'll see, they're completely random. But their environment shapes them, so it'll mimic. You'll see the baby naturally mimic the people around them. But it'll also communicate by crying, right? Cries in different ways. And then until it figures out how to do the right emotion to get you to realize that it's either hungry or thirsty, it needs diapers changed, or whatnot. So it's already learning how, your subconscious part is already learning how to adapt you to your environment. Okay? Now, as you grow older, you'll find that your social environment becomes more important. Like you're going to school now. In a way, you have to figure out how to survive in school, in these social environments. And again, your subconscious partner is already working with you in that way to integrate better. So maybe you don't want to get made fun of. It doesn't feel so good. How do you be more likable? How do you relate to more people? Because we've learned that we need people around us. It's one of our, you can think of it as one of our DNA, one of our requirements. Our subconscious partner says, our job is to be with people. We're not meant to be alone if we could help it. It's not normal. Some people still choose to be alone, but it's not normal. So therefore, as you get older, your subconscious is not just trying to make sure that you're well fed, so you have enough energy and you have enough water, and that you're going to washroom at the appropriate time, you're dressing warm enough. Like there's so many things the subconscious partner is doing, but on top of all that is the complex social cultures that we've developed, and get even more complicated since we now have internet and virtual ways to connect. It's so complicated, but the subconscious partner says, we need that. We need to talk to people. We need to be with people. If you don't, it's going to make you feel lonely, for example. It's going to make you want to go and find other people who are like you with a similar kind of energy. It's going to make you want to be in a relationship or have a family or et cetera, et cetera. Now, the second role that I mentioned, and already kind of give an example, which is the interfacing of you and essentially your body and your mind and the world. Things that you see, like even the words that I'm saying, is very, very complicated. Let's just take the word hello as an example, and it's spelled Hello. So probably your mind can see the spelling already, but that means your mind has these very complex layers of perceptions, that there are alphabets, there are shapes that you define as A, B, C, D, whatever. And that you can combine them in specific order to create words. Right? And then that those words are now associated with different ideas. So for example, if you don't have many friends, and maybe you make a lot of people upset, the word hello is not going to be a good thing for you. Right? But if you have a lot of friends, hello actually has a positive energy about the word. Because memories are also associated with these words. So when you want to say the word hello, your subconscious partner is bringing that to you, and how to say it, and how to say it with other words, and then how to say it in a way that makes sense with different individuals, right? You can say hey or hello, right? So there's so many ways of doing that. And then you get this final decision. Oh, I'm going to say it in this way. Okay. Now, if we talk about the physical and how you walk so complicated, it's all the same thing. But how did you do that? Well, you trained yourself to walk, right? As a baby, you train yourself to start crawling. And maybe you saw other people crawling and you started doing, or maybe it happened by accident. Oh, I can start moving to one end of the crib. Oh, I can start climbing out. And oh, these people are freaking out when I do that. But as you're learning to do this, the arm is moving, and you're projecting this randomly. Your subconscious doing these things, and oh, suddenly you're realizing you can move forward when your arm pulls down like this. Okay, then you're gonna say, oh, I want to keep doing that. Oh, how do I do this again? Oh, so every time you keep doing it, you repeat it. And the subconscious part, oh, so you want to move your arm in this way. Okay, and as you practice it, your subconscious part gets better and better at moving the arm, and suddenly, oh, it's so easy to move. And you can move fast too if you want, right? And then you can have different sensitivity and press down harder or pull down more lightly. You train your subconscious partner to do all this. It doesn't happen by magic, right? So, and those who kung fu with me, in Tai Chi, it's in the beginning, it's all about training your subconscious partner to do what you want. But if you learn how to do it and communicate with your subconscious, you can actually learn very, very fast, by the way. I'm going to show you how to do that a little bit later on. But sometimes when we project what we want to do, typically it's visual. So if you can see your arm go up, like move up, and then suddenly when you move your arm up and you imagine that, boom, it's so easy to do it. If you want to imagine one arm going up while one arm going down, it gets more complicated. But if you can visually project that to your subconscious, it'll actually carry it out, no problem. But if you just try to do it without doing it, then you might struggle. Okay, so that's why in Kung Fu everyone's struggling. How do I do this? It's confusing. But if you learn how to communicate with your subconscious, partnered by visually projecting, suddenly you'll find it's way easier. Okay, so try it. Whether you're doing Kung Fu or volleyball or tennis, doesn't matter. Think about that as a visual projection. But that's not the only way. We can also use any of our senses. We can use sound to project. So for example, anyone singing here? If you're right, you want to hold a C sharp. In your mind, you can hear C sharp. You're projecting to your subconscious. And it's been trained to use the muscles, flexing just the perfect amount to give you that C sharp. So if you think about using your auditory to project, it's easy. If you try to visualize it, you can't do it. So in other words, there's different ways to train your subconscious partner. If you project it correctly, using the right methods, then it gets a lot easier. So in other words, your subconscious partner, it picks up everything that you can sense, right? That you can see and taste and smell and hear and feel and touch. It does all that first. All the senses go to your subconscious partner first, and then it transmits it to you second. Okay, you don't get it immediately, by the way. You don't have a direct connection to your senses. It's coming from your subconscious partner. So in other words, it will process it. And then not only will it give you the sense, as usual, but it might even give you ideas to come along with it, and hence thoughts. Why you suddenly start thinking about something. When you close your eyes, trying to meditate, you think about so many things. Guess where it's coming from? We'll talk about this later on. So that's why the important point then is that your subconscious partner is the second priority, is to help you interface, which means that it can shut you out from any of your senses and from using your body or even your mind. It has that ability. Obviously, there's tons of examples of that. You only need to think about it. I don't need to mention it. So then, in a nutshell, like in a summary, then your subconscious partner main priority, keep you alive, support you in what you're doing by interfacing, allowing you, your consciousness, to interface with it and interact with your environment. Okay, any questions on this? Is it pretty clear? I don't want to dwell too much on it because I want to make sure we have time for a meditation session and then carry on with the next topic. So in this one, I'm going to do a 10-minute because it's already 8:20 and time always seems to really fly. So I want to do a quick 10-minute and then give you another 5-minute break. So find your comfortable sitting position again. Does anyone have any questions about the sitting meditation process or however you want to do your meditation? Okay, so see if you can try to reduce your thoughts. Again, do the counting method. If you manage to get to 5 or 6 seconds before having multiple thoughts, see if you can get further. If you manage to get all the way to 10, then increase your requirement so that maybe you only have 2 thoughts. Or make it even harder for yourself, only 1 thought. Or even harder for yourself, no thoughts. So that way you can continue to objectively get better and better at this meditation. Okay, so find your comfortable sitting position, right hand to left hand, thumbs together, straight out your back, level out your head and your chin, tongue and the roof of your mouth towards the front, half close your eyes. Let us begin scanning your body for tension and relaxing. Starting on top of your head, work your way down, your forehead, your face, your ears, neck, shoulders, down your arms to your fingers, down your torso to your hips, down your legs to your feet. Let's continue. Okay, gently open your eyes. Okay, and extend your legs. We're going to ruffle our legs like this. Just get some circulation going. And just you can pat down your legs as well. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll resume. The topic tonight is pretty heavy, so in the next few sections, I'm going to go a little bit faster. Maybe skip over some of the material that maybe I think is not as important for today. But you're welcome to read the blog because I have a lot more detail on there. Maybe about 3 more minutes before we begin. Yes, Andre?
I have a question about idea of noticing. So, like, you mentioned this briefly, where the information from your subconscious is when you don't notice it, so you don't know that you're not balanced or you're not sometimes. How does noticing that work? Is it that you're actually glitching out, or is that you're not tuning in, or is that
So to answer that, actually, your subconscious partner doesn't want you to have to worry so much about how to do certain things. Once you've trained it, it's like, okay, I want to stay balanced with 1 foot up, for example, and you're going to keep trying until you can do it, and then you can do it better and better and better. Once the subconscious partner gets hang of it, you don't have to think too much. You just bring the knee up, and then okay, you can just magically balance. So paying attention is one way to improve the way that you can learn how to do things. So for example, you can apply this more than just motor mechanics, but even thinking and doing mathematics. But if you're bad at mathematics, you have to think about how to train your subconscious partner to become good at mathematics. Now you're paying attention. Where are we struggling here? Maybe the subconscious partner hasn't figured out the idea between 5 divided by 2. It just can't grasp its mind behind it. So then you have to do more exercises. But at the same time, what I'm suggesting is that you are paying attention to your subconscious, even talking to it as you're doing that, until it gets it. And then you can move on. It's a very, very powerful way of doing it. And that really is the last section that I want to get to as soon as possible tonight is how to actually work with your subconscious partner, and I want to give you some concrete examples. But that's gonna be a fun one when we get there. So we have about 1 more minute. Out of curiosity, how many people actually read the blog or watched the blog about perceptions that I did? Yeah, roughly 1/4 in this room. How about on Zoom? How many people read on perceptions? Not only Igor? Only Igor. How about, wait, there's so many people here, I can't even. What about emotions? Less than 1/4. So how about online Zoom? Oh, you did. Okay, yes.
These were the last 2 meditations we did, though, right?
That's right.
Okay.
The last 2 meditation workshop.
So if you were present for it, and
Did you put your hand?
build on top of that.
Yes. Because today, about the subconscious partner deals with both. Okay, so we're gonna begin. So for those who missed, I'm gonna go a little bit quicker now in this second section. There's 3 main sections that I divide this workshop into. And if you want more detail, it's good to review the material anyway. Go online, find the blog, and then you'll see the areas that I skipped. So this next section is about communicating with your subconscious partner. And we begin by talking about how your subconscious partner communicates with you. So let's start there, and then we go the other way around. So what's interesting is that there's no direct way for your subconscious partner to communicate with you. I mean, like, it's not like someone's gonna hear in your voice, okay, don't do that. You better go eat now. Okay? You're not gonna likely to hear. It's possible. Okay, I'll put it out there, because your subconscious partner is responsible for everything you hear. It could add this, and you can hear things that's not really there. It could happen like that, by the way. Even see. Okay, so some people do have this condition, or this even call it ability. But what we're saying is that one of the easiest ways and immediate ways that your subconscious partner can communicate with you is to elicit an emotional state. So easy example we did was hunger. So next time, which means the next time you feel hungry, don't think I'm just feeling hungry. It's actually your subconscious partner telling you that you're hungry. That's the difference. Okay? When you eat and you feel full, that's your subconscious partner saying that you've had enough. Don't eat anymore. It's too much. If you keep eating, what happens? Your subconscious partner communicates to you by making you throw up. Right? That's how that makes you feel nauseous. It's communicating with you. Is actually what's happening. It's just that we don't see it that way. But in a sense, you can imagine it talking to you. So here's some just some very, very quick examples here. Hey, buddy, the bladder is getting full. Please empty it. Right? It'll say it like this, in a certain way. We need more water in our body. Please drink something. That is a very dangerous idea. Don't do it. Okay? I'm sure you've encountered this one often in your life. I mean, I work with construction tools. I get that all the time. The big alert comes up. Last time I had a circular saw blade go right into my finger. I lost a chunk of my finger. It grew back, thankfully. But so every time I touch equipment, then my subconscious partner kicks in and goes, "Hey, watch out for that. Pay attention." And if you're tired, forget it. You're not even allowed to use it. Like it's telling me these kind of things. Which again, by the way, it's not exactly with words. Okay, but I'm going to go through an example to help you understand. The more you understand how your subconscious partner is communicating with you, then the more you're going to be aware of it, and then it'll help you later on to work with it. So you need to, if you don't listen to your subconscious partner, how are you going to work with it, right? It can't be one way. It has to be 2 ways. Communication is in both directions. That person hurt you badly. Be cautious, right? You are alone too much. Please go develop your friendships, right? If you don't do it, you start feeling very, very lonely. It's suffering. It's not nice, right? So this is really interesting how the subconscious keeps you going. And we talked about why. So we don't need to talk about that, but this is about communication using emotional states. But sometimes it doesn't have enough time to even elicit an emotional state. It might do it second. So here's some examples, a couple examples of where that might come into play. So for example, you touch a hot kettle and you immediately put your hand back without even thinking. So this might happen before you even feel pain. There's not enough time to make you feel pain, but a subconscious partner immediately made you create a reflex and then told you, don't do that again. It'd be really painful. Depending on the degree of the burn, it depends, how much you're going to suffer, right? It's going to make you pay for it. Another example is like if you're driving and a cyclist comes in towards you and suddenly swerves into your lane, what's going to happen? You're going to immediately, reflexively move your steering wheel so that you avoid, and then followed by cursing, right after that. It makes you feel angry, right? Your subconscious partner is saying, you have to really pay attention to all these people. People are nuts today, especially today. You don't know. A cyclist suddenly just turns around and there's no lanes anymore, it seems like, in our city of Toronto. I don't know about other places in the world. But it's getting very, very dangerous, whether you're riding a bike or driving a car. It's like chaos. Our city is trying to do stuff about that, as you can see. So, but the other way that your subconscious can talk to you is through your dreams. Now, not everyone may agree, so I won't say that this is the only way or the only reason why you have dreams, but one of the reasons why you have dreams, for example, could be your subconscious partner is managing your information in your brain. It has to do that every night. It has to decide what's going to go long term and short term, what to get rid of. Okay? Your brain, they say your brain has a lot of capacity, but your brain takes energy to have perceptual layers. Every perceptual layer you have requires more and more energy to maintain. If you don't maintain it, you lose the memory. Right? Eventually, it disappears. So there's a certain kind of maintenance requires sending electrical signals to your brain in different pathways. So when that's happening at night, then if you suddenly become consciously aware, then you can have all sorts of fun, interesting little dreams. It's just seemingly random because your subconscious partner, you just peered in to see what your subconscious partner happens to be doing. The other one might be actual dreams as a result of your subconscious partner presenting an idea to you. Right? So for example, it's so smart, it might even come up with out-of-the-box thinking for you. So you're trying to get a job, for example, and then you're pretty desperate, and suddenly you have this nightmare that maybe at your your favorite fast food restaurant, like there was a murder or something like that, and you ran, or the light suddenly went dark and you freaked out and you ran away. I don't know. It's whatever it's going to be. It could be, for example, your subconscious partner is saying, don't work at a fast food joint. Okay? Find something better. Right? These are ways, how else is it going to do it? Because it can't suddenly appear in your dream, not that I know of, maybe it's possible, and say, hey, don't do this. I can't really do that. So it has its own way of doing it, and one of the ways is through dreaming. And then the third way that I thought of that your subconscious partner can talk to you, in a sense, is by disabling or manipulating your interface. So that means your five senses, your thoughts, your ability to think analytically, it can affect it. So for example, you take a milder situation like hesitation. You want to do something, for some reason you're hesitating, but you don't even know why. You haven't taken the time to think it through yet, but you can't do it. And you're like, oh, and then you take time to think about it. Oh, okay. And then all these suddenly thoughts suddenly happen, right? Your subconscious partner will say, are you sure you really want to do that? Right? That's what's happening. And you can even relate this to traumatic examples, but not necessarily PTSD. PTSD is a different beast altogether. One day I will have a workshop specifically for that, for trauma, and one for PTSD. But a lot of trauma, you can recover it logically and say, okay, it's not going to happen again. It was a terrible time, da 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 da. But your subconscious partner might still affect you or try to manipulate you and your thoughts in some way to maybe prevent a similar accident or trauma from happening again. So I'll leave that one as a big topic, so I don't want to get too much into that, but I'll leave that to your imagination and your thoughts. So now I want to flip it to the other side, and let's talk about how you communicate with your subconscious partner. So this is where it's a bit more relevant to learn about the perceptual layers in your emotional states. So if you haven't done that, do it afterwards, and this will make even more sense. But because we mentioned the subconscious partner knows everything you do, all the what we call evaluative perceptual layers that you have, which means like things that are good or bad or dangerous, even like very complex ideas, your subconscious partner already knows all of that. So, but as you respond to your world, to your environment, you're actually already communicating with your subconscious partner. You're already training it. So, because we talked about how the subconscious partner is communicating to you, it will suggest ideas. It might make you hesitate, But then, at the end of the day, you get the final decision on what you want to do. Okay? And then you learn those mistakes, or maybe you learn new ideas to make life easier later on. When you make those decisions, you're training your subconscious partner. Okay? Over and over again. Everything you're doing throughout the day, the fact that you decide to come here, you train your subconscious partner to say, assuming you enjoyed this workshop so far, this is a good workshop, we should come back here more often. Okay, there's some interesting things to learn here. So here's a couple of things that I wrote that how you're continuously communicating with subconscious partner. Most of these will be common. So for example, teaching what is good or bad. Teaching it to keep track of your worries. For example, task list. Task list is not automatic, by the way. You have to train your subconscious to keep a task list. So if you're not good at doing that and you forget things all the time, then now you know, or you already have the base, because I mentioned this already, the basis for how to train your subconscious, start developing a task list and get very good at it, right? And then to alert you when you forget to do things. But you're also teaching how you want to live your life, your lifestyle, the things you like to eat, when to sleep, how you want to have your relationships, when you want to work and when you need to work, to what extent do you even want to be physically fit. These are all just simple examples, but also teach you how to respond to your environmental factors, such as, like, for example, having fearful instincts to bugs. Okay, but not everyone will have that. Some people love bugs. They'll have bugs crawl over them, fine. Okay, I'm not one of those people, by the way. So, but you'll learn it. Culturally, we'll learn to be afraid of bugs. That's where it comes from your parents, from movies, So, and then when you're scared of it, you're trained and you believe it. Guess what? You're training your subconscious to also believe it. So next time you see a bug, reflexively, your subconscious go, "There's a bug!" It's communicated, and all of a sudden you feel scared, right? For example, you jump, right? It's coming from your subconscious. Okay, so that's the section I really want to talk about before. Really, the meat of all this is now working with your subconscious partner. This is really, really interesting. But because I have 15 minutes left, I'm trying to figure out how to make this work. Why don't we have a quick 5-minute meditation, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, just let all this simmer in our minds for just a brief moment. So just 5 minutes. Find your comfortable sitting position again. Right hand, top left thumb together. Straighten out your back. Half close your eyes. Tongue and roof your mouth towards the front. Level out your head. Make sure you vertically elongate. Now scan your body for tension as you begin. Breathe and relax. Relax everywhere that there is tension. Okay, gently open your eyes. In order to save some time, you can extend your legs and feel free to stretch out how you like. You can pat down your legs. And you can do any of the exercises here, like this, that we did earlier. Just get some circulation in your body. As we get into this really fun section now, but let me start with saying there are 2 conditions required for you to get anything out of this last section of value and not be confused. So the first thing is in order to be able to work with your subconscious partner, there's 2 requirements. The first is recognition. That's recognizing that your subconscious partner exists. So if you're not sold on this idea yet, you won't get very far at this point. And that's okay, by the way, if you don't agree yet. But all you have to do is go back to the topics, previous discussion, and think about it and reflect upon it in your life. And almost for sure, you'll come to the same conclusion that your subconscious partner must be there. The second thing is that condition is that you have to have respect, and that is respect for your subconscious partner. Okay? It's on equal ground. It's truly what I call truly your life partner for this reason, even more so than your significant other, because your relationship with your subconscious partner is 100% intimate. Again, it knows everything you do. Every decision you make, how you evaluate what you want, your desire, everything, it knows. Okay? It knows about it. So in terms of respect, then I have laid out 4 levels. Okay? So if this is your first time with this idea of the subconscious partner and being able to recognize it, then you're already at level 1. Okay? So if you are also able to recognize its role, which again is keep you alive and support you by helping you interface with your body, your mind, and the world. If you agree with that, and you've logically deduced that, okay, you're now at level 2. If you are now able to pay attention, and this will take time, so this is where most people will be in level 3. If you are able to now pay attention to how your subconscious partner is communicating with you and how you're communicating back to it on a regular basis, now you're at level 3. Okay, you're on the way up. Because level 4 is about mutual trust. So when you have like a tacit understanding and trust of each other, you can do absolutely anything you want, by the way. So I would not even consider myself at level 4. I'm getting there. I've been working hard at it. Okay, so I'm like 3.7, something like that. Okay, it's like a game, right? So you need to look at it in this way. Take your time. Maybe tomorrow, I forget, this is ridiculous, I don't believe any of it. Then you're back at 0. Okay, so it could happen. But if you sincerely think about it and you go throughout your day and you pay attention, you'll get to level 3 very, very fast. Maybe 3.1, 3.2. And this is where now you can start working together. And I'm going to mention a couple of things here. As I see now we have 5 more minutes. There are a few ways that, first question is, why would I even want to work with my subconscious partner? So to answer that, there's a few things that you want to do. Because if you work with your subconscious partner, then everything becomes way more efficient. And your life becomes more clear in terms of your thoughts and what you want to do and what's affecting you and what's pulling you back. But here are some ways that you can consider spending time with your subconscious partner. So one is reviewing and managing your perceptual layers together. Okay, so obviously you need to read that blog or watch that video about that. Number 2 is reviewing and managing your emotional states. Okay, so that you understand your emotions better. Again, you need to read that one and study that more. Number 3, addressing outstanding issues that causes stress or anxiety, which everyone must have. But the more you work on this with your subconscious partner, then the more likely you can bring this down. So we had done previous meditation workshop on stress and anxiety before. And if you want to, you can go through that, and it's very, very comprehensive. But I left out the subconscious on purpose because it's too much at that point. I want to give something very, very practical. But if you apply your subconscious partner to those workshops, then you're even more likely to get through those workshops, work on yourself, and reduce your stress and anxiety. Number 4 is developing a plan for the immediate and long-term future. So this means like, what do you want to do in life? What is your plan right now, 5 years from now, and the long term? Your subconscious partner wants to know. Okay? It may not even agree with your decision. Okay? Number 5, optimizing your physical body. Okay, so because we talked about subconscious trying to keep you alive, it knows that the more physically fit you are, and if you build your body correctly to support you, then you can last longer. So your quality of life will also be greater. But also mentally, you'll be in a better state because your physical fitness affects your blood circulation and therefore affects how well your mental functions can work and therefore affects your subconscious partner as well. And then number 6 is managing your lifestyle and your choices together. So the last few actually form part of the discussion and exploration of the ego self. So that'll be next time in February or March. And this is and yet even more fun discussion. But take the time to pay attention now in the next section because I'm going to talk about the first 2, your perceptual layers and your emotional states. And then we're going to use an example and see how you can work with your subconscious partner. So I actually thought of an idea that may not relate to everybody, but you just need to substitute it in a way that makes sense for you. But here it is. So I'm gonna read this again. So when you were a child, you were playing in the backyard, and you spot a cat or a dog or whatever walking into the cover of a bushy tree. The cat looks cute and it's harmless. So you approach it, and it hisses at you. By the way, you're 5 years old. Okay, so you're 5 years old at the time. Not knowing any better, you reach out and you pet the cat. Shockingly, it bites you in the hand, and it makes you bleed and experience pain. It makes you feel scared because also you heard about rabies, and you hope that you would not get it. Years later, you visit your friends as an adult, and they have a pet cat. You want to believe it is safe to pet this cat, but you actually fail at your first attempt to pet the cat because you're hesitating. You're like, oh no, what if it's going to bite me? You know, it happened before and it was really painful. You learned this lesson as a child. It just kind of really carries through with you. But finally you're able to pet it, but you feel very cautious and very anxious or nervous. So in this example that I just given to you, your subconscious partner and yourself probably has a very strong evaluative perceptual layer that effectively says all cats are dangerous. Okay, all dangerous. And then there'll be strong emotions and fear associated. So that means every time when you see it, whether it's on TV or in real life, you'll get anxious. You'll get anxiety. Right? So just so you can appreciate now, this actually happened to me. This is my childhood story. I remember it to the T. Okay? At 5 years old, that's how much I got traumatized by this cat. And it's true, every time I see a dog or a cat, doesn't matter, I'm freaking out. Right? So finally I learned how to work with my subconscious partner, and I'm going to show you how, to almost eliminate. I won't say it's completely gone, but it's almost completely eliminated. All right? So I only get most of the anxiety when I see like a jaguar or a tiger or something like that. All right? So it's a lot better now. But logically, you realize when you're older, it's your friend's pet. Like, how can it be dangerous, right? But it's not working because you haven't acknowledged your subconscious partner yet. So you have to acknowledge it and recognize it and give it respect, and then you can start having these interesting conversations. So how do we do this? Well, one way to think about it is if you are giving advice to somebody who had this problem, then what would you tell them? So if you did that, then you will realize you have to put so much effort to convince this person that this cat is safe. It's your pet cat. It's safe. Okay. For example, you might say, okay, well, if it's not hissing at you, it's cuddling up to you, it's probably going to be safe, right? It's not going to suddenly all of a sudden bite you. Of course, growing up, I still felt that could still happen. All right, it might suddenly change his mind and just suddenly bite me for no reason at all. But that's how badly traumatized I was by that situation. So here it is. Here's the dialogue I want to share with you. You say, hi, partner. This is you addressing your subconscious partner so it knows that you are talking to it. Your subconscious partner is then silent for a few seconds. There's no visual thoughts or emotional states. This is a good sign that it is paying attention. And then you say, I want to affirm that petting a cat is safe if it shows signs of affection. So you are basically pitching the idea to change your evaluative perceptual layer about cats. So the subconscious partner says, actually sends a signal to you to make you feel uncomfortable, anxious, or fearful. You may even feel tension in your chest or your head. It might make you recall the time that you got bitten. So in fact, it is saying, I don't believe you. And then you say, it's okay that you don't believe me. And thank you. It's your job, after all, to second guess my decisions of what's safe and what's not. Can you let me try petting the cat? I mean, look, it's even rubbing up on our legs. It's not hissing at us. So basically, you're now respecting your subconscious partner and giving it the power to make a decision. That means you're not giving it pressure. So the subconscious partner then says, or the subconscious partner then gives you uncomfortable feelings that start to lessen, but then they don't disappear completely. It is basically saying, okay, go ahead and be ready to pull your hand back. And then you say, thank you, let's try this. So basically you are now thanking your subconscious partner for trusting you. You reach out your hand, you pet the cat cautiously, and everything is fine. The cat purrs and brushes up against your leg as it walks around and in between your legs. And then you say, it's safe, isn't it? You're basically confirming by asking your subconscious partner to evaluate the situation. Your subconscious partner, the uncomfortable feelings begin to subside and you feel almost completely relaxed. So finally, your subconscious partner is saying, it agrees this time, but is not 100% sold on the idea yet. So in other words, you need to repeat this over and over again. It could be with the same cat, with other cats, so that you can eventually gradually overcome the original evaluative perceptual layer that all cats are dangerous. So instead, it might evolve into several layers. For example, number one, cats are dangerous if they are hissing. Two, cats may be safe if they are not hissing. And then finally, three, cats are safe to be around if they are purring or cuddling up to you. So you can see now when you take the time to work through things with your subconscious partner, then your evaluative layers will start to change, and the way you deal with your emotional states will be as well. So I'm going to give you the Shaolin Chan-Dao perspective. By recognizing your subconscious partner and giving it respect, you will be able to gradually develop a higher level of mutual trust. You will then be able to work with your subconscious partner to resolve stress, anxiety, regret, grief, and many other emotions that cause you suffering. That is the end of the workshop tonight. I hope that you will take the time to review the materials. Until next time, when we talk about the ego self. 阿弥陀佛。